I think that Shiva Zabatam is an opportunity for us to kind of really introspect and figure out what is it that I'm doing to get myself a relationship with Hashem. And we mentioned how I was zocher to witness the mitzvah of Shiluach Haken, which is sending away the mother bird, which is a fascinating mitzvah. But one of the things I noticed is that by sending away the mother bird, it's supposed to, the mother wants to reunite with their kids. It's supposed to kaviyachol reunite or arouse within a Kodesh Baruch Hu the desire to come close to us. One of the things that we need to do is to have a desire to come close to Him. So I think that the desire to come close to Kodesh Baruch Hu manifests itself very often in the idea of people who want to move to Eretz Yisrael. Because if you think about it, moving to Eretz Yisrael is a huge change and shift in our life. The question is, do we want to be here? Do we care? Do we feel that this is our homeland and we belong at home? I think that's something that quite often gets lost. And I've been zocher to people have called me, and I've asked Gamliel, asked other people, should people come? And as a blanket statement, he says, no, I didn't say people should come now. But it's the desire to want to come. And that's what we need to develop. So I figured that I was zocher a few years back to be involved in reprinting a book all about the Milas of Eretz Yisrael al pi the writings of the Arizal. It's a sefer that was printed originally in around 1655 in Venice, Italy, from a Jew who had left Krakow, the nephew of the Megala Mukos, the same name as the Megala Mukos. He left Krakow, went to Eretz Yisrael, and when after the massacres, the pogroms in the 1648 to 1650, when Khmelnytsky and Shemo killed out close to 750,000 Yidden. So there were people who used to send money to Eretz Yisrael. After that, they needed to focus on rebuilding their own communities. So this Rav, who had moved from Krakow to Eretz Yisrael, was stuck in a predicament. He was the official chief Ashkenazi rabbi of Yerushalayim, and he had to provide for his kehillah. And he went into exile to Chutz La'aretz to raise funds for Eretz Yisrael. And he wrote this sefer in order to promote the people having an awareness of the unbelievable kedusha and the schus of being in Eretz Yisrael. And I think this is something maybe I would like to try to do, especially Shivas B'Tammuz, to discuss what it means to have a desire to be back in our homeland. And I just a simple mashal. He doesn't say this in the sefer like this, so I just an idea that imagine chas v'shalom we did something that's not 100%. I think a few years ago we used to get these shilas all the time. Can I download something, or copy somebody's disc? And there's lots of shilas like this. Unfortunately, nowadays there's come out no shilas like that anymore. Everybody, it came out hefker, but and it's not mutter. I mean, I don't know what the heter is. It could be that if it's available online, so you could down or record what it is online. I don't know what the heter is. So that's beyond my knowledge. There might be intellectual property. I don't know exactly the halachic ramifications of that. But let's just say in America they were not so happy about that. And dina nemachus dina, the law of the land is the law. And if America says you're not allowed to do it, then you're not allowed to do it. So if you want to, so what happens is that chas v'shalom lo aleinu. Imagine the FBI came and knocked on your house, and they said, "Oh, see it, you've been downloading Shlomo Karlbach, whatever you're downloading, and their foundation says that they're copyrighted and you don't have the rights to do it. And chas v'shalom, a person could be put in jail, chas v'shalom, l'oleinu, for that breaking the law. So chas v'shalom, if that happened, and because maybe there was a fine involved, and you couldn't afford to pay it because you're just a yeshiva bacher, and what happens is that they say, well, sorry, we gotta sell your home in order to pay the fine. Sell my home? It's not even my home. It's the family's. The line where what's it called, the IP address, it belongs to the family, and since it belongs to the family, it's the household's thing. So we just have to sell the house, and if you don't do that, we're gonna have to put you in jail. And so they decide to put the father in jail and sell the house and crazy things in order to pay this fine. Chas v'shalom lo aleinu. What would we do? How would we feel about our downloading? Obviously, again, instead of rationalizing, instead of trying to say, well, why shouldn't it be allowed, we might start thinking about, wow, look what I've done. A fine mess we've gotten ourselves into. So there's a certain degree that's supposed to be the feeling that we have. Then that when we didn't listen to the Nevi'im and we went against Hashem, and then what happens was that the natural events is that Hashem kind of Kaviyachol lets us determine whether He's going to live amongst us. Kaviyachol, of course. And because of our averas, Hashem had to leave. So, how do we feel about that? Do we think about it and say, we're trying to get an excuse, well, everybody's doing it, it's not my fault. You know what? A lot of things are changing nowadays. It's we don't know who's responsible for spreading the virus, verves. Don't know. Could be some semi-asymptomatic or a symptomatic person, right, who may have coughed inadvertently in somebody and that spread to somebody else, and he didn't have such a big it didn't affect him so much, but somebody else got infected, and who knows where it goes. It's not about whether I intended to do something that would have that consequence. Most people who do a crime don't, again, there are exceptions, don't say, that they're looking forward to serving the jail time. As a matter of fact, they say that you would have to warn witnesses and tell them what the punishment would be, because once you warn them and tell them what the punishment is going to be, they will most likely stop doing the action, which is illegal. So we got ourselves into the situation. We have to own it. But it's not enough to accept the responsibility. Okay, we got ourselves in this mess. But sometimes we don't even want to leave it. I've heard of people say, what do I need to move to Eretz Yisrael for? I got my shuls, I got the mikveh, I got the takeout, I got my what do they call that? My odyssey. I have 2 odysseys, for all the mishpacha. Really? That's what life's about? Do you even think that that's not what Hashem really wants for us? It does say that Hashem wants to take us to Eretz Yisrael. Living in exile and getting very comfortable in exile is definitely not the tachlis. Why did some tzaddikim decide that they're not going to leave and come to Eretz Yisrael? I can't go into tell you what the cheshbon of certain tzaddikim were, and I'm not the one to judge. But simple pashut pshat, many gedolim, the Chavetz Chaim yearned to go to Eretz Yisrael. The Baal Shem HaKadosh tried to come to Eretz Yisrael. Rav Nachman tried to come to Eretz Yisrael. Even the Vilna Gaon tried to come to Eretz Yisrael. And there were manias. There were many things that were preventing them from coming, but they wanted to. That was their desire. Whether or not we actually were able to actualize it, but did they think about it? They thought about it. The Chofetz Chaim had his bag packed with a special suit for when Moshiach comes to move to Eretz Yisrael. It wasn't just Moshiach coming, and then we'll continue living in that time, his little shtetl. No, he wanted to get his bags and go to Eretz Yisrael. Do we want to do that? In Eretz Yisrael, the water is not the same, and I don't have the same conveniences that I have here. It's hard to find parking. Really? Is that what it's about? How comfortable I am? So I think that's what the fast is supposed to get us to, get used to being uncomfortable. And say, you know what? To be discomforted, to reawaken my relationship with the Kodesh Baruch Hu, get myself in line with what Hashem wants. It's a small price to pay. It's not paying a price, it's a schus. What a schus it is to be able to fast and think, take some time out. If you just take 10 minutes out of your day, maybe come 10 minutes early to Mincha and think, can I make it in Eretz Yisrael? What could I do? If we don't think along these lines, then we're truly lost. Then you think Hashem's going to want to take back the people to Eretz Yisrael who didn't even want to leave? There are plenty of people who didn't leave Mitzrayim. The lowest estimate is 80% did not leave Mitzrayim. Some people say it was a 500th left. Some people say it's a 50th, a 5th, a 50th, a 500th. Right? So it's either 20% left, 2% left, or 0.2% left. What's the common denominator about the people that left is they all wanted. And even though they weren't sure, and we see that they were always questioning Moshe Rabbeinu in the Midbar, where are we going to get water from, what are we going to eat, there were questions. So it doesn't mean that you can't have questions, but do you want to come? Do you want to come? Do you want to be Zocha, to be in Hashem's home? If you're davening for your Moshiach, Rabbi Gamliel was saying that at least 82 times a day you mention the Geula, going to Yerushalayim, going to Beis HaMikdash. Do we want it? Is it just some kind of words we say? V'lishalayim Echa Brachmim Toshuv. Yeah? Do you want it? It's a piece of the Geula. Have you anticipated redemption? It's easy for me to say. I made that decision many years ago to come to Eretz Yisrael. I'm not sure what schus I had that my mind worked in a way that I would do that. I'm not claiming to be any better, chas v'shalom. I'm privileged that I was zocha to be here. But if you want to be here, the Baal Shem HaKadosh says, you are where your mind is. But if you're not thinking about it, then you're not here. Join us. Want it. Rachmana li b'boy. Kodesh Baruch Hu wants our heart. How it's going to work out, don't know. But if you don't want it, why would you be zocha? Hashem should be ma'orer within us this desire, like the shluch ken, that the mother bird wants to be with their children, but the children also want to be with the mother. We all desire to be with each other. Hashem, Klal Yisrael, us with each other in the land of Eretz Yisrael with Moshiach Tzidkenu, and hopefully that awakening will arouse Hashem's mercy and bring the Gol Tzedek V'Meir V'Meinu. Amen.